Welcome to Meet the Candidates 2025 on KOAL 107.3 FM and 750 AM. Tonight, we will hear from three candidates running for East Carbon City Mayor: Carolyn Abeyta, Mackenzie Burnett, and Nyesha Kauvaka. Let's go live to Aiden Mortensen, who is standing by to begin tonight's forum.
Hello and welcome to Meet the Candidates here on KOAL 107.3 FM and 750 AM, as well as on YouTube at KOAL Castle Country Focus. I'll be your host and moderator for the evening, Aiden Mortensen. Tonight we are meeting the candidates for East Carbon City Mayor. Primary winners Carolyn Abeyta and Nyesha Kauvaka, as well as write-in candidates Mackenzie Burnett and Genevieve Guerrero. Over the next hour, they'll be answering questions emailed in by the public. If you'd like to get involved in future Meet the Candidates events, email election2025@koal.net. Again, that is election and not elections. No S on that one. The format for tonight's Now, before we get started, I'd like to go over the rules and format for this evening. Tonight's event is free and open to the public, and as such, we'd like to remind those in attendance to please avoid any distracting behaviors for the candidates. This includes cheering, booing, clapping, or anything else that may distract them. We'd also at this time ask you to please silence your cell phones, again, to limit distractions. If any distractions in the crowd are to arise, we will pause the event until order is restored. The format for tonight's event will be as follows. Outside of the initial introduction and closing questions, in which candidates will have 3 minutes to respond, each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer the questions that has been emailed in. The order of who will answer first has been decided before we began. After the first has had their time to go, the others will have 2 minutes to answer as well. Following the initial 2 minutes, candidates will have an additional 60 seconds to respond or expand on their answer, after which the other candidates will also have an additional 60 seconds to answer as well. Candidates will not interrupt while others are speaking. Responses will be saved for the additional 60-second period. We will follow this format throughout the evening. Now, before we begin, we'd also like to go over voting information for the upcoming 2025 municipal general election. Early voting for the election will be conducted at the Carbon County Administration Building beginning on Tuesday, October 28th, and running until Friday, October 31st from the hours of 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Carbon County Administration Building will also have voting open on Election Day, November 4th from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. For those of you who are voting by mail-in ballot, drop-off ballot boxes are available at the following locations: at the Carbon County Administration Building in both the clerk's office and the east parking lot, Wellington City Hall, East Carbon City Hall, Helper City Hall, and Schofield Town Hall. So starting off with our winner, Ms. Guerrero, you'll have 3 minutes to answer probably the easiest question of the evening. Please introduce yourself to the public. You'll have 3 minutes.
And thank you for coming today. My name's Genevieve Guerrero, and I'm a write-in candidate for mayor. My platform and my vision is very simple. It's strategy, transparency, and innovation. Strategy involves planning, implementing, and analyzing. Innovation means bringing new ideas to East Carbon City, and transparency means opening up new lines of communication into City Hall, and also outgoing lines of communication back to the public so they're informed. When I came to move here from California, I saw that there were a lot of improvements to be made at East Carbon City Hall, and I'm very eager to make those improvements. And I welcome the input of the citizens, and I find the area really beautiful. If you have any questions, please email me at genforeastcarbonmayor@gmail.com.
Thank you, Ms. We'll move to you. You'll have 3 minutes as well.
Okay, good evening. I am Carolyn Abeyta, and I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Arkansas, but when I was 2, we moved to Sunnyside. My dad got a job in the coal mines, and I grew up here, went to school here, graduated. I left for a few years, and while I was gone, I was finance director of a large dental clinic. I moved back, and Chuck and I have been married for 32 years. We have 4 children, 10 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren, And I was hired at Carbon Medical Service as finance director. I worked there for 11 years, and while I was finance director, we acquired the Helper Clinic. Then after the CEO retired, I became CEO. The board of Carbon Medical hired me. There are 12 board members, and I was CEO for 12 years. While I was CEO, we built a new building in Sunnyside. We remodeled the Helper Clinic again, and then we also acquired a clinic in Price. And I would just like to say I'm running for mayor because we love this town. We have deep roots in this town. All of our family that have passed away are buried in this area, and we plan to be buried here. We want this community to grow and be prosperous, and I would like your vote.
Thank you, Ms. Abeyta. Ms. Burnett, you'll also have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie Burnett. Most of y'all know me by Kenzie. I am a write-in candidate, and I decided after much thinking to write in because I do love this community. I'm raising 3 kids here. My husband and I live here with our family. It's just us and the family that we've built with the community members that we've grown attached to here. I believe that East Carbon has potential to grow and prosper. But to do that, I believe that we need to come together as a community, not be separate. Right now, there is a fine line between some of the people in our community, and I believe that we need to grow together to be able to grow the community as a whole. And that's what I'm looking to do. I don't want to see anybody move away. I want to see more people come here. We don't need to be big, but I do believe that we can be an area where more tourists come to see our beautiful area. We can be, something amazing, but I think it'll take the right leadership to do that. Along with the community's involvement, we need our community to be involved with us. And being on chair of planning and zoning, I've seen what we can do together if we work together. So I would really appreciate anybody's vote. Write in Mackenzie Burnett.
Thank you, Ms. Burnett. Ms. Kauvaka, we'll finish off with you on this one. You will have 3 minutes as well.
Thank you. I am Nyesha Kauvaka, born and raised in West Jordan by my 2 loving parents. Grew up in a big family who raised me with respect, loyalty, and kindness. I'm not a write-in. I earned my spot here, and I believe I have the community's best interest in change in this town. I moved here 4 years ago, and I fell in love with East Carbon. I'm grateful I found this town. I plan for my kids to be raised here, to have roots here, and that's my main goal is kids, my kids, everyone's kids, and they're our future. And I'd like the community's vote because I believe we need a change. We need to switch it up in City Hall. And so, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kauvaka. Ms. Abeyta, we will move to you to open up our questions. If elected, how would you address the pressing infrastructure needs of East Carbon, such as water? You'll have 2 minutes.
Water is very critical. To move forward with any economic development, any infrastructure, we need water. We need to make sure that our water is secure. I know that the city has met with the division of the Southeastern Water Alliance, that our city met with them, and the regional director spoke about the 1922 development law of river allocations of the Northern Basin, which is Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, and New Mexico, and the Southern Basin, Utah, Arizona, and California. In 2007, the rules changed, and now in 2026, it's very critical. The agreement will be void if we don't do something. It'll go back to the 1922 law. We need to fight for our water rights for Range Creek. I know the city's working right now, and I plan to continue to work with the engineers on developing strategies either to restore our reservoir or make that a holding pond or create a new reservoir, and also a way to get our Range Creek water to our city. This is going to take a lot of work, and I will work with the engineers and the city council to do everything that we can to get this move forward.
Miss Abeyta. Miss Burnett, you will also have 2 minutes. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Water is a big issue here in East Carbon. We've been hearing about it forever. I've lived here for 9 years, and I think every year it's a topic of conversation. How much water do we have? How low is the reservoir? What can we do to get it fixed? One thing that we're gonna need to do is work with the Governor's Office of Economic Development. They have great resources for cities and counties to be able to fulfill this need, whether it be another storage facility, reservoir for additional water, fixing our current reservoir, things like that. We're going to have to work not only with our county, but we're going to have to work with our state government and possibly even federal government to see what we can do to create a different plan for our water, because it rules everything at this point in this town. We have to have it to be able to grow. For my vision, for East Carbon to grow, we're going to need that water. Speaking with people at the Governor's Office of Economic Development, there is amazing plans that East Carbon does qualify for. We just have to talk with them, work with them to get that rolling.
Thank you, Miss Burnett. Miss Kauvaka, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it? If elected, how would you address the pressing infrastructure needs of East Carbon, such as water? You'll have 2 minutes.
Water is, like everyone is saying, the main concern. I believe we just need action. Someone needs to get in there, stop talking about it, and actually do something. I've reached out to the Utah Division of Water, with Marissa Egbert. She handles the funding, and she's like, you need a city worker's help, of course. So, it's great you're trying to do something and you're not even in the city hall yet, but we would need a project in order, an engineer, just like Kenzie was saying. But basically, just action. Someone who's going to get in there and get the thing started.
Thank you, Miss Kauvaka. Miss Guerrero, you also have 2 minutes. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Okay. There's several things I would do to address the water supply situation, which is one of the big concerns. Our reservoir has a large amount of sedimentation at the bottom, and there are devices out there, new technical implementations you can use to dredge the bottom of the reservoir. One's called a SETI mover, and it's moving into development phase with the Bureau of Reclamation. And what it does is it just simply moves around and dredges the sedimentation out of the reservoir and moves it out. It's autonomous. It's very efficient. It doesn't kill any fish in the reservoir. They stay away from it because of the vibrations of the device, and it can be used while the reservoir is in full operation. Nothing has to be shut down. It's very effective, and the U.S. government has acknowledged that 25% of the nation's reservoirs have sedimentation problems. Ours is one of them. So it's very likely we could get grants for that kind of a device in the future, and it seems like the perfect fit to solve the problem. I also think we need 2 more water storage tanks. I would be willing to go to the bat to get state and federal funding for that. I believe we need stricter permanent water usage regulations with the residents. I think people are using too much water at will, and I think that needs to change. I think we should draft some indoor regulation usage just to have them on deck in case we ever get worse than where we are right now. We need to start regulating indoor usage. Also, there are things that we can do with the reservoir apart from the SETI mover. We can implement floating solar panels on top of the reservoir, which reduces the evaporation. And it generates electrical power. For residents, they can purchase rain pillows if they have the funds. They can purchase rainwater barrels. And also for agriculture, we can implement water pond farming. I also think highly critical, we need to develop a rural water management plan for all of these things.
Ms. Guerrero, right at the wire, may I add. Ms. Abeyta, you'll have an additional 60 seconds if you would like.
I think that's really good ideas that Jen has for the reservoir, but I also am very concerned about dredging. The reservoir was Westridge mined underneath that reservoir, and we would have to look at the engineer's study to see if that would be feasible.
Ms. Burnett, you'll have an additional 60 seconds as well if you would like.
All great ideas. Everybody's basically, we all know that the water here is an issue. We all live here. Something obviously needs to be done. We need to do something about it. And again, it's going to take the whole community, from the mayor down to our community members, to make things work.
Ms. Burnett, Ms. Kauvaka, 60 seconds is yours if you would like it as well.
No, thank you.
Ms. Guerrero, 60 seconds if you would like.
I'd just like to add that I'm a grade 4 water treatment operator and a grade 4 water distribution operator certified by the state of Utah. I'm highly qualified to analyze these issues. And of course, if there were any mining issues with the sedimentation, those would be looked at. That would be a cause and effect issue that of course, all of those cause and effect issues would have to be looked at. Also, I'd like to say that I'd like to analyze the sewer collection system for East Carbon City, the electrical power needs, and also the streets and sidewalks, and see if those infrastructure issues need addressing as well.
Thank you, Ms. Guerrero. We'll move on to our next question now. Ms. Burnett, we'll start with you on this one. How would you plan to address the unhoused population within East Carbon, especially during winter months? You'll have 2 minutes.
The homeless here, we all know, is a problem, especially summertime, wintertime. When it gets colder, it's even worse because they're people. They deserve, the basic rights that all humans deserve. I would like to see all of our homeless be in homes, but unfortunately that's not plausible because they have to want to accept the help. You cannot force somebody to do something without them willingly taking the help. We can't shove them out of East Carbon. Honestly, we'd have to work with the county. I know there's been several propositions about a homeless shelter for cold winter months where they can go and sleep during the night, something like that, because we can't do that by ourselves. We don't have the capability as East Carbon to be able to do that at this time, but with the county's help, we could create one that is county-wide, and hopefully that would be able to help the homeless population.
Thank you, Ms. Burnett. Ms. Kauvaka, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it? How would you plan to address the unhoused population within East Carbon, especially during the winter months? You'll have 2 minutes.
I believe this town has a lot of property. There's abandoned buildings. We can invest to build a drug clinic to help them. I don't think a homeless shelter would work. From the big city, I know they just attract more drugs. It's a place to hang out. And so if we could invest in our community, which are these people as well, to provide them with help, to get help with their drugs, homeless, So I believe we could help with that in that way, providing a place for them to get help, buildings to provide housing for when they are in the sober living. But homeless shelter, I don't think that's a great idea.
Thank you, Ms. Kauvaka. Ms. Guerrero, you will also have 2 minutes. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, that's okay. I think one of the things we can do is provide a warming center in the winter hours, and also provide food, water, and perhaps the clothing that the military wears to keep warm. I think it's called Kevlar. I'm not positive on that. Also provide blankets for them. But I think overall, and most importantly, we need to look into long-term solutions. We need to it would be helpful to develop little cards we can hand out to the homeless people to provide drug counseling and mental health counseling. And particularly, I would like to get our local clergy involved. The local bishop from the LDS Church, the local priest, and the local pastor from the Baptist Church, as well as any other pastors. I think it's very important to get them involved in the homeless situation, because they can minister to them, and they can uplift them and give them the hope that maybe other people don't have the skill to give them. So that's what I would like to see happening. And I think we also need to look into long-term housing solutions for them, as well as once they get cleaned up or get mental health treatment, get them job training if we can through any options that are available through state and local grants.
Thank you, Ms. Guerrero. Ms. Abeyta, you will have 2 minutes as well. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, thank you. Carbon Medical has quite a few mental health therapists that work for the clinic, and they're more than willing to address if these homeless people are willing to come in. Their problems are mental illness, of course, drug abuse, and financial. If we can work together with the county and see if there's a place for a homeless shelter, or a facility that would house these people during the winter months.
Thank you, Ms. Abeyta. Ms. Burnett, you will have an additional 60 seconds if you would like.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Kauvaka, same offer for you.
No thanks.
Ms. Guerrero
I'm okay, thanks.
and Ms. Abeyta. All right, we'll move on to our next question then. Ms. Kauvaka, we'll start with you on this one. What plans do you have to stimulate economic growth and support local businesses within East Carbon? You'll have 2 minutes.
Sorry, Aiden, can you repeat the question?
What plans do you have to stimulate economic growth and support local businesses within East Carbon?
I feel handling the water situation is a big impact on how the town will be run. With water, there's more opportunity for small businesses that a lot of the community members have looked into, from car washes to laundromats. And I believe that's our main issue to help with the economic growth. And just having community events, a barbecue at some of these small businesses to bring out the community together, to get together. This town needs someone who can unify everyone, and I believe that would be me. And so, and just getting out there, going to get some food, some lunch once a week, once a month, showing some type of support for these small businesses, from the dog groomer we have here, from the restaurant we have here, from pubs, getting your gas there. And so, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kauvaka. Ms. Guerrero, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
Okay. What I would do is I would provide workshops on how to get small business loans to the whole community, and educate them on how to get those loans. I would also bring in SCORE, which is the Service Corps of Retired Executives. They've been around since 1964. They're professional executives who are retired, and they, for free, mentor and counsel new business owners and people who want to develop their new businesses. Another thing too is I would really, really encourage new business owners to develop business plans. It's just a must. A lot of people, they start businesses and they don't have a business plan, and then they fail. And that's not good. A business plan increases your success fourfold, if not tenfold. Some of the businesses I feel that we have an immediate need for are printing and copy services store, hair salon, barbershop, coffee shop, restaurants, in-home personal service for the elderly, a convenience store, a thrift store, a veterinary clinic, bed and breakfast inns, and maybe small 4-unit hotels for tourism. And also measure the business growth. See how much tax revenue it's bringing in. Measure what's being done right and what's being done wrong, and make course corrections along the way. Another thing too is I would like to increase tourism on a limited basis, test it out, see how well it works. I also think we need a new electrified sign, like Green River just put in a new sign, Price is putting in a new sign. We need a snappy new electric sign at the entrance to the city. And for example, one motto I came up with is East Carbon High Desert Oasis. And we would have one other idea is have a citywide contest and see who could come up with the best motto and vote it in for our city, and put that on the new electrical sign. So we do have some things we need to do to snazz up the city, and that's about it.
Thank you, Ms. Guerrero. Ms. Abeyta, we will move to you. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, thanks. Economic development is, in my opinion, the water is critical for any economic development. We have a lot of resources here as far as like the railroad. We have the industrial park. We have a lot of vacant buildings that could be restored. We have beautiful country, mountains, trails. And that all could be, an economic development with new businesses coming in, but the water has to be addressed first, in my opinion.
For you, would you like me to repeat it?
Absolutely. I think it's something that is needed out here, not only because Carbon County Animal Shelter is always full. It seems like it's very hard to take animals from East Carbon and drive them into Carbon County. But it takes a load off of our officers when our animal control officer is off duty. If they have to run an animal into Carbon County, it helps our animal control officer. There would be a shelter right here, that would be able to assist with that animal until we can find the owner or get it adopted out. I know that there was money going to be in the budget this year, but it had to be taken out due to budgeting issues for our animal control officer to start building one. She would like to oversee or help oversee something like that. So absolutely, I'd definitely love to see something like that come up here.
Thank you, Ms. Burnett. Ms. Kauvaka, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
Please.
Many citizens are asking for the creation of a no-kill animal shelter within the city. Is this a project you would attempt to undertake if elected? You'll have 2 minutes.
All I could say is I would. I would be supportive, of any ideas the community has to bring in.
Thank you, Ms. Kauvaka. Ms. Guerrero, you have an additional 60 seconds if you would like.
No, I don't have anything.
60 seconds for you. Ms. Burnett? No. Ms. Kauvaka? All right, we'll move on to our next question then. And on this one, excuse me, Ms. Abeyta, we will start with you on this one. Gathering and responding to citizen input is an important part of being mayor. How would you connect with the citizens of East Carbon if elected outside of city council meetings? You'll have 2 minutes.
It is very important to connect with the community and let them know what's going on. The newsletter that we have I think is very, very good, but we could reach the public more with Facebook or emails and get all the information out that we need to keep the public informed of what's going on with the city and all the events that are happening, announcements and such. I believe emails and Facebook would be the biggest asset.
Thank you, Ms. Abeyta. Ms. Burnett, you'll have an additional 2 minutes as well. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Will you please?
Gathering and responding to citizen input is an important part of being mayor. How would you connect with the citizens of East Carbon outside of city council meetings?
I'm an extrovert. If you know me, I talk and I talk and I talk. I love meeting new people. This whole election process, walking around talking to people, has been probably the highlight. I'm on the ambulance and I'm a firefighter. I I'm able to go out and create these connections already with most of our residents in town. Um, and I think, like Carolyn said, Facebook and emails and, a better website for the city only does so much. I think getting out and actually speaking with people, if they email you and they have questions, I would offer to set up a time to meet with them. Let's meet up. My schedule's usually pretty open. I like the face-to-face conversation. Written text can get skewed in so many different ways. You don't know the tone. Your tone cannot come through a text message. Um, just talking with them, offering to meet up with them, not hiding who you are or where you're at, just being available to them.
Thank you, Ms. Burnett. Ms. Kauvaka, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
Please.
Gathering and responding to citizen input is an important part of being mayor. How would you connect with the citizens of East Carbon outside of city council meetings? You'll have 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, I have pages here of gathered information, concerns, the good and the bad of East Carbon going door to door for months now. Um, and I'm approachable. A lot of people know me from the credit union out here that I work at and the sports that I keep my kids active in year round. I volunteer my time. Um, and, going door to door has opened my eyes to a lot. A lot of people don't read the newsletter. Some of them just toss it away. Some are, a lot are elderly, don't go on Facebook, email. So flyers, if we take time it's a lot of work to maybe, deliver a flyer door to door. I mean, that's how people are really going to know what's going on and what you're trying to do. So.
Thank you, Ms. Kauvaka. Ms. Guerrero, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, that's okay. Yes, I would like to hold quarterly town hall meetings with the public. On the website for East Carbon City, I'd like to implement a feedback and ideas form. Separately, I'd also like to implement a complaint form and or a service complaint form. The complaint form would be for employee complaints of East Carbon City, and the service complaint form would be for service complaints, for example, water. On the website, I'd like to post any announcements, post the agendas to the city council meeting, post the minutes, post online surveys if residents wanted to complete surveys. Also, I would schedule one-on-one appointments where people could meet with me in the mayor's office. What Pri-City does is they use express bill pay to make announcements about changes they're going to make on their ordinances or anything. They can use the express bill pay online account to announce changes to their citizens. So we could use express bill pay too, since we also use that company. I'd also like to hold a quarterly budget review meeting. And I'd also like to implement a City Budget 101 class for all the residents. And what would happen there is the residents would come in and the city staff would instruct the residents on how the budget is created and how to actually read the budget. A lot of the citizens would like to know more about the budgeting process and where the money goes. So that would show them that information, and they would also be able to provide feedback during those City Budget 101 courses. And we would use our own budget as the example, of course. So those are some ideas outside of city council meetings.
Thank you, Ms. Guerrero. Ms. Abeyta, we'll move back to you. You will have an additional 60 seconds if you would like it.
Yes, I would have an open door policy. I always have had that at my previous job. I would have an open door policy, let the public know my hours, and meet with them whenever they'd like to meet one-on-one. I would also like to have post a survey, and I have posted that on my on Facebook on my page, and see what the citizens are interested in and their concerns.
Thank you, Ms. Abeyta. Ms. Burnett, you'll have an additional 60 seconds as well if you would like it.
I'm okay, thank you.
Ms. Kauvaka, same offer for you. 60 seconds is yours if you'd like.
Same as Abeyta, open door, maybe a drop box, kind of go old school for these older folks, that will get back to them 24 to 48 hours. And what's, you know, a good time for them. We're here for them. So it's not on our hours, it's not on our time, it's on the community's time and, what works best for them.
Thank you, Ms. Kauvaka, and Ms. Guerrero will finish off with you. 60 seconds is yours if you would like it.
One more thing I'd like to implement is a state of the city report on an annual basis.
Thank you, Ms. Guerrero. Ms. Burnett, we'll start with you on our next question. If elected, how would you work with the City Council to ensure the best direction for East Carbon? You'll have 2 minutes.
I've always been told that city council decides everything, but it takes a great mayor to lead with vision and show the city council members what they see for the city, and try and get the city council on the same page. Not everybody agrees with every single thing you're going to say. I get that. But being able to show them exactly what you see for the city, talking about it, and compromising. What can we do to compromise on certain issues? It's not hard to compromise. It's also not hard to work with other people in a professional manner to lead anything. Being a leader means that, again, you're willing to compromise. You're willing to take a step back and see perspectives of other individuals. And we'd have to do that not only with city council, but our citizens as well.
Thank you, Ms. Burnett. Ms. Kauvaka, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
Please.
If elected, how would you work with the City Council to ensure the best direction for East Carbon? You'll have 2 minutes.
I believe communication is key, being respectful, being adults, and transparency, putting everything out there on the table, talking about it, and, executing a plan. And, like I said, with respect and yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kauvaka. Ms. Guerrero, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, I'm okay. I would like to determine, first of all, what each city council member's priorities are for East Carbon City, and having a good understanding of that will help have a meeting of the mind, so to speak. That would help me make a pitch to them because I realize that they pass the things by vote of what changes are going to be implemented within the city structure. And I have a servant mentality, which I think goes a long way. I've already had many constituents ask for my help as a mayoral candidate, and I've always jumped to the occasion and helped them and went the mile distance to get their questions answered and provide the assistance they needed. Also, documenting everything along the way and providing facts and figures and maybe PowerPoint presentations and even doing an in-person presentation to city council members to make my pitch about the things I would like to implement helps them to have a visual as to what I'm trying to sell to them and hopefully get them to pass. So I think all those things coming together and always being very prompt in communication. Sometimes in today's world, if you take more than 2 hours to answer someone and they're waiting on your answer because they need to get back to someone else, that doesn't work. I mean, you have to answer people very promptly today, and I'm very good at that.
Thank you, Ms. Guerrero. Ms. Abeyta, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
Yes, please.
If elected, how would you work with the council to ensure the best direction for East Carbon? You'll have 2 minutes.
As mayor, you're a leader, and the city council is a body that votes all of our ordinances in and so forth. I would lead the city council to make the best decision as possible. But we have a great city council, and I think having them as a resource would help me be a better leader also. And I think that's what I think.
Thank you, Miss Abeyta. Moving back to you, Miss Burnett, you'll have an additional 60 seconds if you would like it.
I'm okay, thank you.
Miss Kauvaka, 60 seconds. Miss Guerrero, same offer for you.
I'm all right, thanks.
Miss Abeyta, same offer for you. All right, we will move on now to our penultimate question of the evening. Ms. Kauvaka, we will start with you on this one. Some citizens worry that members of the community only run for elected positions such as mayor in order to advance their businesses or for their own personal gain. Are there any conflicts of interest you would have if elected mayor? And if so, how would you go about disclosing that to the public? You'll have 2 minutes.
I do not have no special interest. My interest is my kids. Running for a city council seat was my main initiative, and got a little directed into being mayor, running for mayor, which I laughed at. But I wanted to get in here, and I'm here. No special interest here, no conflict of interest. I don't have any family members in City Hall. So,
Thank you, Ms. Kauvaka. Ms. Guerrero, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, I'm okay. I have no conflicts of interest. I'm willing to sign a form stating that. And if I did have any, or if they arose during my term, if elected as mayor, I would disclose those immediately, and address them properly and legally. And I don't have any relatives at all in city government or any relatives that have businesses here.
Ms. Guerrero, Ms. Abeyta, same question for you. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, I do not have any conflict of interest, and I would be willing to sign a form. If anything arose during my term, I would also abstain from and let people know that I have a conflict of interest, but I have none.
Thank you, Ms. Abeyta. Ms. Burnett, we'll finish with you. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Oh, that's okay. No conflict of interest here. I'm honestly not in this for myself. I'm in it for my children that I'm raising here, my 3 babies. I'm in it for our community's children. I'm in it for the young families that live here that are just trying to make a living and want to stay here. I have no family besides my little tiny one that lives at my house with me. I have amazing friends that I consider family, but there's no conflict of interest anywhere.
Thank you, Ms. Burnett. Ms. Kauvaka, 60 seconds is yours if you would like it.
are we able to ask each other questions, or is this?
Nah, just stay straight ahead.
Got it. I am good.
Ms. Guerrero, same question for you. 60 seconds is yours.
I'm okay.
Ms. Abeyta?
Good.
Ms. Burnett?
I'm good.
Well, before we move on to our final question of the evening, I'd like to take a second to thank all of you for taking the time to come join us. I think events like these are very beneficial to the public in keeping them informed and helping them make their best decision moving forward into the municipal elections. We'll also go over voting information one more time. For the 2025 municipal general election, early voting will be conducted at the Carbon County Administration Building beginning on Tuesday, October 28th and running until Friday, October 31st from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. The Carbon County Administration Building will also be open on Election Day, November 4th from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. again in the Carbon County Administration Building. For those of you who are voting by mail-in ballot, drop-off ballot boxes are available at the following locations: at the Carbon County Administration Building in both the clerk's office and the east parking lot, Wellington City Hall, East Carbon City Hall, Helper City Hall, and Schofield Town Hall. Now we will move on to our final question of the evening, and again, you'll have 3 minutes to answer this one. Ms. Guerrero, we will start with you. It's a pretty simple question. Why should the citizens of East Carbon vote for you? You will have 3 minutes.
Needless to say, I have a lot of good ideas I'd like to implement. I think the city's ready for a big sea change. There's a complete lack of business growth in this city. It's been going on for decades. We need to fix that and change it. We need to improve on it. My 3 priorities are water storage, business growth, and low-cost housing. Those are just the highest priorities, but there's a whole plethora of priorities below that. Some of the other things I want to implement are a metering device at the reservoir to measure the acre feet. 1 acre foot is a football field of water, 1 foot high. We need to know how much water we're using on a weekly, monthly, and annual basis. Right now, we have no clue because there's no device measuring acre feet. We need to get a meter. I'd like to implement a city revitalization committee composed of citizens and business owners, an ethics committee, a utilities committee, and a municipal code ordinance committee. I also would like to measure the amount of tax revenue businesses bring in. We need to know that. And I'd like to have an annual emergency response plan update review meeting. The citizens need to be involved in our emergency response plan. And that includes all manners of natural or man-made disasters. I found out during my candidacy that there's an air horn downtown in East Carbon. I never knew about it. It goes back to the Cold War. I mean, that's something that everybody needs to know about. I didn't know about it. But the reason I want the voters to vote for me is because I know I can implement all these changes. I know I can make a good pitch to the public and to the city council, and I know with the high level of detail and my professionalism that I can bring to the table, I can get things done. My experience and my certifications as a water treatment and water distribution operator are an added bonus because I know what I'm talking about in that regard. So I ask for the vote of the citizens. Give me a try. I think I can do a lot better than my competitors. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Guerrero. Ms. Abeyta, same question for you. Why should the citizens of East Carbon vote for you? And you will have 3 minutes.
I will work together with the council to go after grants and do whatever it takes to accomplish the goals that are for our water situation and our economic development. I will also investigate the possibility of acquiring the power plant's infrastructure and water if they unfortunately close. We need to look into inquiring about their infrastructure. They have water pipes from the canyon to the power plant and then pipes to Big Springs Ranch. We need to make sure we have first right of refusal for these water rights. Water is so important. East Carbon needs economic growth. We have like I said before, a large industrial park. We have a railroad spur here, and we need to address our water situations so we can accomplish all of this growth. We have ordinances in place, and I'll work with the police department to enforce them to address the nuisances in our town. I will make sure that we have a judge and attorney that will help the police department enforce our ordinances. And another thing that we haven't brought up this evening is our children. Our community deserves to have more activities. I would like to see our East Carbon Rec join with the Carbon County Rec and the Elks Club and other resources in Carbon County to have more activities for our youth. With the help of the community, we just we got the new golf course. Is it a disc golf at the Viking Park? Yeah, things like that are so important for our community and for our children, so they have something to do and not to get headed the wrong way. I'll work with the council, the office staff, maintenance crew, the police department, the accountant, number one, the accountant, judge and attorney to keep the city running at full speed. I will work with ECDC and CoGen so we can all succeed together. As we all know, the drug problem here is huge, and I will work with the police department to join forces with Carbon County Drug Task Force. This is another problem that a capable judge and attorney would need to help with our police force, to accomplish that. If elected, I plan to be transparent and let the community know what issues we are working on and where we stand with the budget. I promise I will do my very best to make a difference.
Thank you, Ms. Abeyta. Ms. Burnett, same question for you. Why should the citizens of East Carbon cast their vote for you? And you will have 3 minutes.
I get asked this a lot. That and why am I running? I'm 33. Why are you running for mayor? I think the community should vote for me because I have every single one of our citizens at the forefront of my mind all the time. if we do this on planning and zoning, how is it going to affect this singular person? What is it going to do to the city? What is it, all of these things are continuously running through my mind. Working on the ambulance, same thing. We take somebody to the hospital. Is this person okay? They are part of our community. Are they going to be okay? We are a very low income city, one of the lowest in the state. I know what it's like to live like that. I know what it's like to live in a one-parent household. I know what it's like to have to scrape by for bills. I am the one that would be there for our community. We getting more resources to our food pantry that is run by a local citizen. Right now, I was proactive in starting to take leadership courses right when I signed up for this. I'm part of the Eastern Leadership Academy program through USU Eastern. I am able to go and meet all these amazing people who are teaching me how to be an even better leader in our community, from just our city to the county, all the way up to our state government. All of these are resources that I have that I can bring back to help our city, our infrastructure, the water, everything. And a vote for me is really a vote for the success of our city at this point.
Thank you, Ms. Burnett. And Ms. Kauvaka, we'll close out with you. Why should the citizens of East Carbon vote for you? You'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Aiden. I don't have experience in a water plant. I don't have years of experience in running a business, but I do have over 40 years of life experiences that make me relatable to my community here in East Carbon. My passion is to help others. My effort that I put in to be a part of this community is what qualifies me. I show up to events, I volunteer my time, I support and make purchases of all our small businesses here in town. My kids, they volunteer their time for the new disc golf course that they just put up. My kids are active in this town. Can we use more activities? Sure, especially for the older kids, 13 and older. But there's sports here all year long. Brittany Medina makes sure of that we are steady having basketball, soccer, wrestling. Um, let's see. And you should vote for me. Like I said, I don't have no special interest. I don't have no conflict of interest. I don't have a family member in City Hall. I don't have a best friend that works there. My interest is solely on the future of this town that my kids are going to be raised in. I hope they could come back to this town. I work here at the credit union. I've been able to grow here. Um, the credit union. It's taught me about finances, loans, budgeting. I've become a real estate agent, a life insurance agent here in East Carbon. I know the potential here. I've become a homeowner here in East Carbon. And overall, I have been able to grow here in East Carbon. So I'm grateful God led me here and my family here to East Carbon, and I'm blessed to call East Carbon home.
Thank you, Ms. Kauvaka. And again, thank you all for taking the time to appear at tonight's forum. We appreciate you taking the time out of your evenings to come speak on this very important topic. Again, we'd like to run through municipal general election information one more time. Early voting will be conducted at the Carbon County Administration Building beginning Tuesday, October 28th, and running through Friday, October 31st from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. The Carbon County Administration Building will also be open on Election Day, November 4th, from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. Drop-off ballot boxes are available for those of you voting by mail at the Carbon County Administration Building at the clerk's office and the East parking lot. They're also available at Wellington City Hall, East Carbon City Hall, Helper City Hall, and Schofield Town Hall. We'd like to thank everyone here in attendance in East Carbon for coming out and participating in tonight's event. For those of you who are viewing on KOAL 107.3 FM and 750 AM, we'll send you now to Thursday Night Football. And for our viewing audience on KOAL Castle Country Focus, signing off for Castle Country Radio, I'm Aiden Mortensen.
You've been listening to Meet the Candidates 2025 East Carbon City Mayor Edition. On Tuesday, we'll continue our series as we travel to the Price Civic Auditorium to hear from members running for Price City Mayor and Price City Council. To get a full schedule of our upcoming forums, visit castlecountryradio.com. Do not forget that each of our sessions are available to view on demand on our YouTube channel, KOAL Castle Country Focus.